Welcome to Genesis chapter 42 as we read the Bible together. And the drama is building fast in the story of Joseph and his brothers. It's classic mini-series stuff. Why isn't there a good TV or film version of this? Well, as it is, the biblical account is a wonderful script, and it's filled with color, drama, suspense, and a cliffhanger at the end of every chapter. And the last chapter ended with the onset of famine. Now, we'd been given clues that Canaan would not be exempt from famine. Remember how far from home the brothers had to travel in order to find forage for their flocks way back in chapter 37. Now, with all the countries coming to Egypt to buy food, we're waiting for just this moment to arrive when Joseph's brothers would have to come to Egypt. The chapter begins with a wonderful, true-to-life moment. Jacob says to his sons, "Why do you just keep looking at each other?" Goodness, I can hear my own father's voice when frustrated at my adolescent inactivity. "What are you sitting around for? Get off your backside. Go out and make something of yourself." Or words to that effect. In any case, Jacob's instructions are to go and buy food in Egypt that we may live and not die. And the brothers do just that, but demonstrating that Jacob still plays favorites, he tells them that Benjamin, the youngest, must stay behind. Now, Benjamin, you see, is not only the youngest, he's also the only other son born of Jacob's favorite wife, Rachel. And so the implication is, I'm sending all of you to do this, but if you happen to be killed in the process, at least I still have my one remaining favorite son. The other 10, in other words, are not expendable. Not a nice feeling. So there's Joseph administrating the selling of grain to foreign nationals when the 10 brothers arrive. They bow their faces to the ground. Joseph immediately recognizes them and remembers the dream of the sheaves of wheat, all bowing to his sheaf of wheat. How true this dream has become. Not only that, Joseph now has all the wheat and all the power, and all the anonymity. While he recognized his brothers, they don't recognize him. Why not? Well, first of all, they think he's either laboring away as an anonymous slave in some salt mine somewhere, or dead. Secondly, what they see enthroned before them is an Egyptian government official with an Egyptian name, dressed like an Egyptian, eye makeup and all, and likely in the Egyptian fashion, clean-shaven and bald. How could they hope to recognize him? Well, Joseph quickly sees his chance for revenge. His dreams of having complete power over his brothers are about to come true. He speaks to them, we are told, harshly. We're also told a bit later on that he speaks through an interpreter as well. He doesn't want to let on that he can speak or understand Hebrew. That would let the kosher cat out of the bag. So, putting fear into them, he accuses them of being spies, casing the joint for an invasion. This, of course, is highly unlikely. A group of 10 starving shepherds plotting an invasion of the most powerful country on earth. They object. "No, my lord," they answered. "Your servants have come to buy food. We are all the sons of one man. Your servants are honest men. We're not spies." How sweet it must have been for Joseph to hear his brothers, who earlier in our story had never managed to speak peaceably to him, now referring to him as Lord and to themselves as his servants. I don't think Lord is what they called Joseph back in the old Technicolor Dreamcoat days. Joseph's not satisfied yet. Maybe their claim to be honest men. Remember, they plotted the selling into slavery of their own brother, then broke the heart of their father by implying said brother had been torn apart by wild beasts. Maybe their claim of honesty had hardened Joseph's heart for his next twist of the knife. Upon further investigation, they admit to having a younger brother back home, as well as a brother who they say is no more. Well, this no more brother stands before them, plotting his revenge. And the no more line, in contrast to their claim of honesty, really seems to set Joseph off. Exercising his power, he tells them his judgment. they can cool their heels in jail while one of them goes and fetches this younger brother as verification of their shaky story. If not, they will be considered spies, and we all know what happens to spies. Either you'll rot in jail, or you'll be worked to death in the salt mines, or you'll simply be killed. In the meantime, to the jail with a lot of you. So, for 3 days, the brothers experienced just a taste of the fear, confinement, and uncertainty which Joseph had undergone during his years in prison. But then he sends for them, and they're on their knees before him, blinking in the harsh Egyptian sun. To keep them unsettled, Joseph changes the plan. Claiming piety, I fear God, he says, the plan is now to leave one brother behind while the rest go to fetch the youngest. They'll be allowed to purchase their grain for their starving households, but if they don't return with this younger brother, the one who's been left behind as a hostage will die. Well, this is an interesting test. They've demonstrated their willingness to sacrifice one brother. Will they be willing to sacrifice another? Joseph's plan begins to bear fruit. Speaking with one another in Hebrew, assuming that because an interpreter is being used, that this Egyptian guy can't understand them, their brothers make the connection between their treatment of Joseph and the misery befalling them now. Reuben protests that if only they had listened to him and not harmed Joseph, they wouldn't be in this pickle. Now, even though Joseph is getting his revenge, it's all becoming too much for him, and he has to turn away to hide his tears. Reuben's words of regret have meant that Joseph lets him off the hook. It's now the second eldest, Simeon, who will be the hostage. And Joseph, just to make sure that everybody understands, has Simeon bound before their very eyes. Well, one last trick. The grain is purchased, but Joseph orders the silver used for the purchase to also be secretly placed back in the containers. You might think this to be an act of generosity and mercy, but what it really does is implicate the brothers in theft, as their terrified actions reveal. If they return, will they be accused of stealing the grain? Hey, you guys with the grain, you never paid us. And so return, they don't. And one of the reasons they don't is because there's no way Jacob is going to let Benjamin out of his sight. He lost Joseph. It appears as though he's lost Simeon. Is he about to entrust Benjamin to the care of his remaining sons? No, he's not. He holds them responsible for the loss of the others, and he makes that clear. Plus, in true Jacob fashion, he makes it all about him. Everything's against me, he says. Reuben makes a last-ditch effort. You may put both of my sons to death if I do not bring him back to you. Entrust him to my care, and I will bring him back. As if Jacob, already losing sons through tragic circumstances, would compound his grief with the death of two grandsons. Well, Jacob seems already to have written Simeon off as dead, or as good as dead. He only ever expresses concern that Benjamin would be returned safely. There's no way he's going to risk that only remaining son of Rachel, the only one for whom it seems he still cares, the precious Benjamin. Well, the chapter closes with Jacob's complete rejection of the plan with the cry, "You will send my white head down to Sheol in grief." A parental lament not unknown to disobedient or disappointing Jewish children to this day. So, once again, we have a cliffhanger ending. What will happen? Will Simeon rot in jail? Will Joseph have mercy on him? Will Jacob relent? Will the family starve? Will the covenant come to an end? Tune in next time for Genesis chapter 43 as we read the Bible together. We'll see you then.